Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. We are rolling. Yes, all right. It's our weekly fireside, space heater side chat, except since it is actually getting warm here in Maine, I don't need the space heater on, so that is so good. Honestly, the weather can make such a huge impact in my mood. It's been warm, it's been like 80, it was like 85 yesterday, and it's going to be 85 today, and it's been sunny, and just the leaves are on the trees, everything is green now, it's not brown and gray, which is just so nice. And yeah, I'm starting to feel that carefree summer vibe. I love that. I hope you're starting to feel some of that. I know that the world has been turned upside down the last couple months, but you gotta look for the good, and seeing green leaves on the trees is definitely something to feel good about. So, had a great week. It's actually Thursday when I am filming this because tomorrow we are having the electricians are coming in to like put the switch plates on and put the lighting in and all that stuff in our addition. So I think they have to turn the electricity off in the house because they need to bring in a new mast or something from the I think the electric company has to come and coordinate that. So I don't know what I'm going to have for electricity tomorrow. I just wanted to make sure I got this filmed for Saturday. Our Sat Chat, that's what my husband calls it, the Sat Chat. So, because I'm thinking, oh, I can't call this a space heater side chat during the summer because it's going to be warm. And I've had a lot of people ask if I'll continue to do these Saturday chats after the pandemic is over, and after the lockdown is over. And I think I might. It's kind of fun. I like kind of like this weekly wrap up. I don't know if people will keep watching it or not. So I guess if people keep watching it, then I will, and if people don't care, then I'll find something else to do with my time. Maybe find some other different thing to slide in this slot on my YouTube channel. It's so funny, like what's getting watched right now and what isn't. Like I'm finding that that these videos, the Sat Chats, are getting watched, and my reviews are getting watched, but I'm finding that tutorials have kind of dropped off, which I think is really interesting, because I would think if you're home, you probably want to learn things and you want to try projects and do things, that you'd watch a tutorial, but I guess not. I guess people are watching different things. But something that I have heard a lot of people say is like they'll put this on like a Sat Chat. I can get used to that. Sat Chat, I kind of like that. They'll put that on when they are like washing dishes or they're working on their own artwork, because you don't need to be watching the screen when I'm doing this. You could just be listening, kind of like a podcast. And I get that because I'll often have stuff playing in the background while I'm working. I like to hear the chatter. I like a friendly voice. I'll listen to like supply reviews. I'll listen to you know, podcasts, all sorts of things like that. So I can understand that. I think people are maybe get the nervous energy and they want to be doing something and not necessarily watching. Although you could watch a video and paint along. I don't know. Maybe it's also, I think the YouTube isn't pushing tutorials. I think tutorials encourage people to leave YouTube, and YouTube doesn't like that. What I see a lot lately when I go on YouTube is haul videos, and it's like nothing is open, but I'm seeing tons and tons of Dollar Tree hauls, and they are like getting tens of thousands of views, hundreds of thousands of views sometimes. And I think it's because like it's the only store open, or people want to live vicariously through the people that are out shopping at the dollar store. I think it's kind of it's such a weird sign of the times. I'm seeing that on a lot of craft channels, and the craft channels that are doing really well are doing it with these dollar store hauls, which I just find so interesting. This time in our lives is interesting. If nothing else, it's very, very interesting. So I've got a little note on my phone so I don't forget what I want to talk about. Actually, this is the second time I recorded this because I said a colorful word, and I decided, no, that's not safe for my video. It wasn't a really bad word, but it was kind of like, ooh, yeah, I probably shouldn't say that. It wasn't anything, it was, never mind. So this weekend, last weekend, the holiday weekend, we got the, now everyone's going to be wondering, ooh, what did Lindsay say? She's always so G-rated. We got the edition painted. We painted oh, and I got swatches. I'll show you the color swatches here. We did all the walls in the main room in the addition, this tame teal. And then we did the closet with my chandelier, this nice bright creamy yellow. And the bathroom is kind of, oh shoot, I lost a swatch in here. That's just about right. It's like this color right here, this kind of minty turquoisey color. And then accent wall in the tame teal room is this bright red. It's called Showstopper. It's my favorite color. I love this color of red. And this thing takes 4 coats. I probably, well, actually I wanted to paint my kitchen this color, but after the 4 coats on the accent wall, I'm like, no way, no way. I am like, I look for that really good paint that's like supposed to be 1 coat paint primer, 1 coat coverage type of paint. How about 1 coat coverage type of girl? And 2 at the most. Yeah, I can't do more than an accent wall and some doors with that. But we are going to do all our doors and maybe our shutters in that color. I just think it's fantastic. Nothing like cherry red. That is my 3rd choice though for my midlife crisis car. I'm thinking that when I finally, you know, crest at the midlife crisis, I'm going to have a little roadster convertible, the ones that look like they're smiling at you, either in yellow, aqua, or cherry red. Cherry red feels a little cliche for midlife crisis cars, so I think I'd rather be a little more subtle with my midlife crisis and go with like the mint or the yellow. What else? Oh, we got the garage painted. That is this color right here. And the nice thing about the garage, because eventually the addition, the upstairs is going to be my studio when the kids move out. Right now it's going to be extra living space because we live in a small house. I think luckily with the ranch we have a full basement, and that is our saving grace. It's around 1,000 square feet, so it is, you know, small 3-bedroom ranch. So once the kids move out, then that will be my studio. When we get the addition done, my filming area will be in the finished room behind me, behind that wall, which is currently serving as my oldest child's bedroom, and that will be really nice. So I will have a heated place to work in the winter, and it's also separate from the house because that's something that's that is a tough balance for me. Because I work from home, I need a place to go that is not in amongst the living space because I'm too easily distracted, and it's very difficult to turn the business off at the end of the day. And I think if I had like an office that was visible from the rest of the house, that's why the addition will be the studio when that's all done, because it's a little separate, because I have a hard time stopping work at the end of the day. And this makes it, I'm not going to come down here at night in the winter because it's cold. I might come down here in the night in the summer, but even so, it's still a little chilly. I like to be warm. I like probably like, I'm loving this 85-degree weather. I need that separation, so that's why I'm still going to be working downstairs, even though we had that addition. And I had a few people ask me about doing a house tour, and I'm not really comfortable with that. I don't know, it just feels a little too personal to me. I've done some room redos, and like when I made over my girls' room, I got a lot of like encouraging comments from my community here, but then you'd get a lot of people that are just searching for like twin bedroom ideas or kids bedroom ideas, things like that. And just people that can be really mean and nasty and like, well, I wouldn't do that. Oh, this woman has no taste, or that looks bad. It's like, my kids, it's their room, they liked it. You know, what's your problem? Why spread this negativity? So I'm like, I don't think I want that. Like, I don't want any more of that. That's a pain in the butt. And so it wouldn't be you guys. You guys are awesome, but I know there would be that element. And plus, I also kind of question my own taste, because I feel like I'm a spool table away from a dorm room. You know, I'm that close. I feel like I am a grown adult, but sometimes I don't feel that my my preferences and decor reflect that. But it's my house and I want to enjoy it. I want to have fun, so what the heck. But it's definitely a magazine worthy. I got furniture that I don't love that I bought and I kind of regretted. Or let us recall the couch painting incident of 2016, which did not last long. That got a mass protest from everyone else in my family because it was a little crunchy. I'm not gonna lie, it was a little rough. Speaking of rough furniture, I'll show you my latest project down here. Let me turn the camera around like that. Oh, sorry, hope that didn't make you dizzy. So I painted my table. This is my main work area when I got a big project, and I keep this cleared off. I just have whatever I'm working on for the day on my table, and what I did was and the reason I did this is because it was really rough and hard to clean. Oh, I can't see if I am in focus or anything because I have messed up the camera. Oh, there we go. Oh, I should have wiped my nose while I was just had the camera over there. Every time my nose runs when I'm doing these videos. My sat chat nose run condensation. So on that table, I had a great idea. I always have great ideas with that table. The table's a door, by the way. It's an old hollow core Luan door, because I think it's a law that if you built a ranch home in the 70s, you have to have hollow core Luan doors everywhere except for your front door. And so like all the closets had these awful hollow core Luan doors on them, which they would slide back and forth, except they never slid back and forth. They jumped the tracks all the time. They were a pain. You would have to like, you couldn't see what was in your closet because you'd like slide your door over, you could see half of it, and then it's all dark. Yeah, it's just such a pain. You can never see everything you had in your closet. It's hard to get to stuff. So those are like the first things that had to go. And I just sewed curtains for them that work great. You can change the fabric out so easily. Oh, it's so much better. So all these doors, I would use them for, like, if I was doing a craft fair, I would like just put them on sawhorses and make my craft fair displays. They're so lightweight. They're so great. This is a door too, actually. Everyone should use doors for this. They're so great. And so I would put contact paper on it and it would get dingy and snagged. And then like probably 2 years ago, I painted it white. I took like 2 or 3 cans of white spray paint. I couldn't believe it. It was just like sucking in the paint. Painted it white. I'm like, okay, great. I can have a nice white counter like I see on YouTube. All these crafters have these white tables. I don't know how they craft, but I cannot keep a table white. It was about 2 days and I had alcohol ink spilled on it. So that was the end of that. And that really bummed me out. So then I'm like, well, I want to look good after taking like all that time to spray paint it, which took a long time because 2 cans of spray paint. Just saying. I am a very impatient person, by the way. It's a very good thing we got that that painted this weekend. So I took a brayer, just like my gel press brayer, and some acrylic paint to put dabs everywhere. I had a bunch of like bottles of paint that just had a little bit of paint in them. So I'm like, I'm using this up, and it felt so good to use stuff up, and then I'm braying over it. It looked fantastic. If you go on I had a craft room tour about a year ago. I teamed up with Marta over at Mirami's Small Art, and you could see my table in that video if you're curious. But it looked great. I really liked it. And then it was about a week later, my daughter was down here painting and she saw my table and she's like, oh, cool, we can just use the table as a palette. And she squirted out like brown paint. Now this is all like really bright confetti, like pastel colors that I had on the table. So she squirted brown out and she was just using it like a palette, like it was a palette. And I didn't notice it until the next day it was all dry and I was like, oh man. So I put more paint down and brayered it over and I could never quite blend it in to look as good. So I just ended up repainting it a few months later. So every few months I would just throw some more paint down there, brayer it out, be nice and fresh, and I'd just keep on going. It's kind of insane. It's kind of insane when I think back. It's like, why didn't I just leave the table white? It would have eventually been like this wonderful collage, but I was too impatient for that. So after all this time of brayering, it built up this texture and it felt like sandpaper. And when I go to clean it off, like spray and wipe it, my rag would get caught on it and it just would, like, it would catch dust and glitter and embossing powder and all sorts of stuff. And my cat, my long hair fluffy freak cat that you saw a couple of weeks ago with a big shaved part on her back because she got scratched by another cat and she had to go to the vet, it's growing back in. She's fine. Antibiotics round is all done. She's, you know, good as new, except for the freakish short hair on her back. She likes to lay down here, especially since we got our dog last year, to kind of get away from it all. And so her cat hair, her cat fluff was everywhere and it was so hard to clean off. So I had some paint left over from another DIY project we did. We shiplapped our bathroom ceiling last summer because we're kind of on this mission to get rid of all the popcorn ceiling in the 70s ranch. I think every 70s ranch house has popcorn ceiling, and I have a theory about popcorn ceiling. I don't think anyone has popcorn ceiling on purpose. I think what happens is that people do the ceiling and the drywall's not that great, and then they're like, well, let's popcorn it, you know, just to kind of so they don't have to redo it. So that's why I didn't want to scrape down my popcorn ceiling, because I had a feeling that there's popcorn up there for a reason, and plus I don't want to have asbestos. I don't know what's in them, but I didn't want to deal with that and then have like a crappy drywall ceiling underneath there. So shiplapped over it, and that's my public service announcement. Don't scrape your popcorn ceiling because it's probably not pretty under there. And there's like these tiles that we're going to try in another room. Anyway, I might do some of the like redo room or something videos. That might be kind of fun. Do like a video on how to do a certain project, but not a whole house tour. I don't know. I just don't, I don't know. I'm not comfortable with that. I think it's sweet that people want to see the house, but I also think it's just kind of, I don't know. It's a little, I don't know. I'm just a little uncomfortable with it. Yeah, I don't know why I feel bad explaining myself, but for whatever reason. Anyway, so for my table, I poured out some of this thinned down, trim, like cabinet and trim paint. that we had thinned down to use for a sprayer because we were spraying our shiplap for that project, and we had a little bit left over, so I dumped that out. I spread it out so it really filled in and leveled in with all that texture, and then I put dabs of acrylic paint and just swirled it with a paintbrush. I love the way it came out, and it's nice and smooth, almost glassy, because that paint was thin and it kind of leveled out, and I put actually way too much on there, so there was plenty there, but it dried really hard and durable. It's not sticky at all, and it's really easy to wipe down and clean, so I'm really thrilled with that. And of course, because that is a type of project that I do, I have a feeling that people could have nasty comments about things that I have chosen to do in my home, and I just don't want to deal with it. And I wouldn't be like the average viewer, but it would be there. And yeah, I'm just like not having it. I'm not having it. I've been online long enough to just realize that there's certain aggravation that I don't need in my life, and I think that would be an aggravation. All right, what else do we have on our list of things to chit-chat about? We talked about our edition progress. We probably maybe moving next week, moving stuff, moving rooms. Very excited about that. I will show you the office once I get that set up. Oh, okay, so a little bit of sad news in the crafty world this week. I got an email. It was right after I finished filming last week's crafty chat, Satcraft chat, like that. And it is that I got an email from the CEO of Craftsy, now it's Blueprint, saying that they're closing down, they're shutting down operations. And so Craftsy was a online, a place where you could buy online classes for crafts. A lot of it was, their most popular categories were like sewing, quilting, cake decorating, knitting. They also did mixed media, paper crafting, painting. They did some gardening, some jewelry making, things like that. And they had really in-depth classes. And I went down and filmed a class in 2016 down in Denver. It was an amazing experience. I absolutely loved it. I would have gone back in a heartbeat. It was so amazing. I mean, it was like being a movie star. They had you had a dressing room, and you had a makeup person, and you had, you were driven from the hotel to the studio. You had a director and a producer and camera people and audio people and a talent coach, and it was crazy. It was so amazing. And, I was so happy I got a chance to do that, and I was just honestly, when I was there, my thought was, how can I get back here again? How can I do this again? And so I filmed the class. It was a good success. It sold really well. My whole experience working with the teams there was great. And then the next year, I was set to do another class with them, and my class idea was going up to the Greenlight Committee, and I was just about to sign a contract, and the outfit was bought by NBC Universal, and they pretty much just anything that wasn't signed yet was just not going to be done. And they switched their kind of what do you call it, not motto of the company, what would you call it, mission of the company, to be more from the a la carte classes that you would buy on Craftsy to a streaming service. And the other thing that they changed was that instead of being education, they wanted to be more entertainment based. And I think they were going after a younger audience because they were reaching out to influencers on Instagram, kind of popular millennials, people that weren't necessarily crafters or artists, but people that were maybe famous because they were they were a fashion influencer, or they were some other sort of lifestyle influencer that also had a hobby. And those are the people they want to bring in on their new service. They wanted to do shorter, more snackable content, less deep dive. And so you can see how a lot of their customer base wouldn't be into that, but they still loved their older classes. And so that's why I wanted to bring this up here, not to spread crafty gossip, but because if you bought Craftsy classes in the past, I would make sure you watch them. And the thing that's really frustrating is that right now on their website, they don't have a way for you to download the classes that you purchased. You can download them on the app if you use the Craftsy app, or it might be they might have a Blueprint app. I had the old Craftsy app on my old phone. I don't think I have it anymore. You could download the classes video by video into your app, but your phone or your tablet or whatever is only going to have a limited storage space. So really, I mean, a lot of people have bought hundreds of classes and spent thousands of dollars on these classes. They would want to download them onto an external hard drive or something so they can access them. The wonderful thing about the lifetime access was that you buy it and you can refer back to it whenever you want. Like in my classes that I have on Teachable, once you buy a class, you can do the class and you can always come back to it as much as you want on my, my courses. Critique Club's a little different because that's a monthly membership club, but all the other classes, the actual like long format classes, you can always come back. And if there was ever a situation where I thought Teachable was going to go under, I would enable downloads on everything so everyone can back everything up. It's not as convenient as having it in a platform where you can jump around and find exactly what you want so easily, but it would definitely protect my students for having their stuff. But on the Craftsy Blueprint website, they don't have a way to do that yet. So I'm hoping they figure out how to do that so people don't lose the investment that they've made in those classes. I also don't know what's going to happen with the class, like who gets the rights to the class. I don't know if I will be able to like take that class and put it on my website or what. I hope I can, but I don't really have high hopes that will happen because I have to look at my contract, but like they produced it. I mean, the content, I created the content, but they filmed it and recorded it and produced it and marketed it and stuff. So I don't know if I have rights to the class or not. I hope I do. I have it on DVD because I was one of the classes that was in the, they did a DVD program before NBC bought it. They had certain classes available on DVD and mine was one of them, and I thought that was so cool to have a DVD of my own class. Like, that's how it was done back in the day, right? I mean, you go to like a convention and you buy a DVD, or you'd order a DVD from your favorite teacher because you couldn't physically get into a class with them because they lived too far away or they didn't have classes in your area, you lived rural or whatever. So I don't know what they're going to do. I remember for a while there was some outfit that did like a Netflix for craft tutorials, and you could rent like craft tutorials like with DVD through the mail. I don't know if they'd do something like that. But something tells me no if the streaming service didn't work out with the way they had it. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but that's frustrating. I just want to let you know, so if you bought a class and you've been like waiting to retirement to do it, watch that class now and try the projects and see what you can do, because I don't know what's going to happen there. And they said they're working on a way for people to be able to download their classes, and I hope they're not counting on the app being the way to download the classes, because first of all, I think a lot of Craftsy customers, including myself in that, don't want to do classes on their phone. They want to be able to put it on a computer. They want a bigger screen. And also, I'm not that tech savvy. I think a lot of people that are crafters, they don't want to spend their time on the computer. They want to spend their time working on the crafts. They're probably not as tech savvy as others. And, it's a huge burden. It's a huge burden for everybody. I'm just seeing how much time I have left. Oh my gosh, we're running out of time. This is a long, crafty chat. The next thing I want to talk about is, speaking of classes, every year I go to the Heirloom Show in Massachusetts, and I teach a class. And this year, it was supposed to be this weekend. This is usually the weekend I go with my girlfriends. We go down to Massachusetts and we have a lovely weekend. I usually teach one day and then I shop and hang out, and it was just a lovely time. But they postponed that to the 26th and 27th of the month, and I really don't see that the world is going to straighten out by then. And the other thing is that my classes are elbow to elbow. There's no room to social distance. They don't have the space. As it is, everyone can barely hear me because it's in the middle of a convention floor where they have the class area, and I have to get close to people. Like, if they're showing me their artwork, I'm kind of like, like a foot away from them, kind of showing them a brush stroke or doing this and that, and I just don't see a way to teach in a 6-foot social distance environment, especially having a mask on, where it might be hard to hear me anyway, and the students might be relying on reading my lips to be able to understand what I'm saying. So I'll probably, if nothing else, probably not do the classes, and honestly probably not go, because it's like, do I want to drive through several states, potentially pick something up and give it to other people and then come home and bring it back to my family? So yeah, it's just such a bummer. It's just a little sad thing. It's kind of sad. I was looking forward to that. I always am, but I really didn't think it was going to happen this year, and I'm pretty sure that it'll end up getting canceled. Right now it's still postponed till the 26th and 27th, but I mean, if you're going to go, and if, they have to limit the people going in, that's not fair to the vendors that spend a lot of money to get out there. And, oh, speaking of Father's Day card idea, this is actually a card that I made for my husband's birthday. The stamps are from Technique Junkies. It's called Silly Walks, so it's kind of like John Cleese's Silly Walks. And my husband's a big Monty Python fan, so I used that. And then I used Close to My Heart, Papertry ink. like dancing footsteps for the background in a lighter colored ink. But I thought that was kind of fun. It'd be a cute Father's Day card if somebody likes Monty Python. I just thought I would bring that up too. So support your small stamp companies. If you're planning on going to a convention and you have a stamp company you always like to see, visit their website. Some of their websites might look like they're from 1996, but because they mostly do conventions and not web business. But you know, it's nice to support those companies that you would be supporting if you're going to a stamp show, because they're certainly struggling. They're struggling if they don't have those shows to go to. Okay. Oh, the last thing, I had another viewer question. I think I've just about enough time to get this in, I hope. So somebody asked, how am I upbeat all the time? Well, I am not upbeat all the time. Nobody is. Nobody's upbeat all the time. I fight the darkness just like everybody else does. When I'm feeling anxious and lazy and just crappy, I just try working so that I can push through it. I don't want to spread negativity, so that's why I don't film when I'm feeling like that. I don't put that out there into the world. I don't want to spread that. I want to spread positivity, and that's what I choose to spread. But don't think that anybody online is upbeat and happy all the time, because everybody shows what they want to, what they want to show in the world. They want to spread what they think should be spread. They probably don't want to spread the negativity. And not that it's negative to feel bad, no, not at all. But, a lot of people are showing the best sides of themselves, and I'm no exception to that. So, yeah, I'm not happy all the time. Nobody is. So I guess I really don't have any good tips for that, other than just try to find something that does bring you joy and do that when you're feeling crummy, and maybe you'll work yourself out of it. I guess that's it. I guess that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a little random and crazy, just like every SatCraft chat. And hey, till next time, happy crafting. Bye.